Every day, millions wake up lost, drowning in distraction, chasing shortcuts, waiting for motivation to strike like lightning. But not you, because you found the fire. Welcome to Napoleon Daily's Discipline, the sanctuary for those who refuse to live on autopilot, the forge where average is melted down and greatness is carved one habit at a time. Here, we don't sugarcoat life. We sharpen the blade of truth. We resurrect the eternal principles of giants like Napoleon Hill and drive them deep into the heart of modern chaos. This is not a place for excuses. It's a battleground for transformation. Every video is a war cry for the soul. Every word, a weapon. Every habit, a hammer to shatter mediocrity. You're not here to feel good. You're here to rise. If you believe success is something you attract by the person you become, if you believe discipline is the gateway to freedom, if you feel the stir of greatness burning just beneath your skin, then you're home. Welcome to the one channel that doesn't just speak motivation, we speak discipline, we speak legacy. We speak to the part of you that refuses to die quietly. This is Napoleon Daily's Discipline. Where your new life begins. One day, one decision, one unbreakable habit at a time. Now breathe in. Because what follows isn't inspiration, it's transformation. Welcome to Napoleon Daily's Discipline, the place where ideas are forged into iron will, where philosophy meets fire, and where every word aims to wake something sleeping inside of you. If you've been waiting for the sign to begin again, to rise above who you were yesterday and walk toward who you were born to be, this is it. Not just inspiration, transformation. Let's begin. There comes a moment in every person's life when the mirror stops lying, when the excuses sound hollow, when your soul whispers what you've always known, but were too afraid to admit. You were made for more. Not more comfort, not more distractions, not more scrolling, or temporary highs, or artificial approval. You were made for more meaning, more strength, more fire, more life. But life, real life, doesn't hand itself to the passive. It doesn't crown the indifferent or reward the wishful. Life bends its knee only to those who show up every single day with intention, with discipline, with an unshakable demand for greatness. And that greatness is not in the lottery of fate. It's hidden in your habits. It's carved in your daily decisions. Every empire ever built, every fortune ever earned, every legacy ever etched into history, that all began the same way, not with a master plan, but with a daily commitment. So today, we go deep, not into hacks or shortcuts, but into the 6 daily habits that, if burned into your bones, will transform everything: your mind, your energy, your confidence, your destiny. We begin, not with action, but with awareness. Because transformation does not start with a step forward. It starts with a step inward. Habit 1. In the morning, with a ritual of self-command. Before the world wakes up and demands your attention, you must command yourself. The first habit of transformation is winning the morning. And this doesn't mean waking up early just to rush into chaos. It means rising with deliberate intention. Because how to begin your day, the sacred window before the world intrudes, determines how everything else unfolds. Thomas Edison used to rise before dawn and sit in silence with nothing but a notepad and his thoughts. Napoleon Hill wrote that every great man he studied had a morning ritual of solitude and clarity. Not one of them reached greatness by accident. They began the day with focus, not frenzy. So what does that look like for you? Wake before the noise, put the phone away, stand tall, breathe deeply, look in the mirror and speak not to your reflection, but to your inner authority. Declare who you are, what you stand for, what you will create. Write your intentions, move your body, pray, meditate, or visualize whatever ignites your soul and connects you to purpose. The goal isn't perfection, it's alignment. It's training your brain to remember you're the one in control. Do this daily, and your mornings will stop being a blur. They will become your launch pad. Habit 2. Train your mind like a warrior trains his sword. If your mind is undisciplined, your future will be everything begins in thought. Every triumph, every downfall, every fortune, every fear, it all starts in the soil of your inner dialogue. And the truth most people never hear is this: your thoughts are not random, they are trained. The question is, who's doing the training? Is it you? Or is it the news, the gossip, the algorithm, the fear? Most people feed their minds junk and wonder why their life feels heavy. They let worry spiral. They let doubt narrate. But if you want to transform your life, you must begin mastering the voice inside. That means daily mental discipline, reading, Powerful ideas. Journaling thoughts that empower, not paralyze. Challenging limiting beliefs the moment they arise. Feeding your subconscious with truth, courage. Vision not by accident, but by ritual. Andrew Carnegie, one of the richest men in history, said, "A man who acquires the ability to take full possession of his own mind may take possession of anything else to which he is justly entitled." That's not metaphor. That's law. So guard your mind. Train it, sharpen it, speak to it as a warrior would speak to his blade. And every day, it will get stronger, more focused, more fearless, more you. Habit 3, move your body. Move your destiny. Third habit is primal, powerful, and often underestimated. Physical motion creates emotional energy. Your body is not just a shell. It is a vessel of momentum, and when you move it with intensity, you awaken the chemistry of power. Confidence doesn't come from words. It comes from blood flow, breath, sweat. The moment you challenge your body, you send a message to your brain. I am alive. I am in control. I am becoming stronger. Henry Ford used to walk for miles when stuck on a problem. Walt Disney took long hikes through nature while visualizing entire worlds. They didn't wait for inspiration. They moved toward it. So daily, without fail, move. Whether it's a run, a workout, a stretch, a climb, move with fire. Not to burn calories, but to ignite your identity. This habit isn't about fitness. It's about philosophy. It's about showing up for yourself when no one is watching. Your future doesn't need another plan. It needs a stronger you, and that strength is built rep by rep, breath by breath. You're not here just to survive the day. You're here to sculpt it. The first 3 habits: command your morning, discipline your mind, and move your body are the foundation. They are not chores. They are sacred. They are the rhythm of those who lead, not follow, who create, not consume, who rise, not retreat, because the truth is the most successful people don't have more time. They have more clarity, more fire, and that fire is lit daily, not occasionally. You do not become unstoppable overnight. You become unstoppable in the moments no one sees: the early morning silence, the mental rep of choosing power over panic, the extra push when your muscles beg you to quit. And as you do this day after day, something awakens. The world doesn't just look different, you do. But if the first 3 habits build your foundation, the next 3 sharpen the edge of your soul. These habits don't just keep you moving, they make sure you're moving towards something greater. Because motion without meaning is just exhaustion, and discipline without direction is slavery. True transformation comes when your daily effort aligns with your deepest purpose. That begins with the 4th habit, a habit so rare in today's world that mastering it makes you unstoppable. Clarity of vision. Every day, you must take time to reconnect with your purpose. Not yearly, not monthly, daily. You must ask, what am I here to do? Who am I becoming? Why does it matter? The answers may evolve, but the asking must be constant. A ship may survive rough seas, but without a compass, it's lost. So are most people, drifting from task to task, caught in the tide of other people's urgency, never anchoring in their own. But not you, not anymore, because clarity is not a luxury. It is your weapon. Every day, take 10 minutes and revisit your vision. Write it, speak it, close your eyes and see it as vividly as you see the present. Napoleon Hill called this the definiteness of purpose, the magnetic force that pulls greatness toward you. It is not enough to want success. You must define it. Sculpt it in your mind so precisely that your subconscious begins bending the universe to fit your image. Walt Disney stood in an empty swamp and saw an empire. Steve Jobs held a rectangle of glass and imagined the world in your palm. These weren't accidents. They were practiced acts of vision. If they did it, so can you if you make it a daily habit. Because a day without purpose is a day wasted, and a week without vision is a life misdirected. The 5th habit, relentless forward action. Action is the bridge between dreams and reality. But let me be clear, this isn't about being busy, it's about being deliberate. Most people confuse movement for progress. They stay in motion: meetings, emails, tasks, errands, and at the end of the day, they're exhausted but unchanged. This is not transformation, this is noise. If you want to transform your life, you must take daily action that aligns directly with your vision. Not someday, not when it's perfect, not after the fear fades. Now, Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, do the thing and you will have the power. Action creates clarity. Action reveals truth. Action builds identity. It doesn't have to be massive, but it must be daily. You want to be a writer, write a page, want to build a business? Make one call, want to master your craft, study for 1 hour, practice for 2. Every empire was built brick by brick, and every brick laid was a choice to act or to excuse. If your life feels stuck, it's not because you lack time, it's because you've forgotten your power to move. So reclaim it. Do something today that scares you, that stretches you, that honors your vision more than your comfort. Do it even if your hands shake. Do it even if the voice in your head screams for safety, because every time you act from purpose, you silence the voice of fear, and eventually, it stops speaking. Now we arrive at the final habit, the one that ties everything together and fuels you through every storm: radical self-reflection and gratitude. In a world that pushes you to achieve more, consume more, want more, few pause to appreciate what already is. But transformation without gratitude leads to emptiness. You may gain the world and still feel hollow if you forget the miracle of your own breath. So every day, before the world takes its toll, you must return to yourself, reflect. Look back not with judgment, but with curiosity. What did I learn today? Where did I grow? What pain taught me something? What moment made me stronger? This habit is not weakness, it's wisdom. Abraham Lincoln journaled late into the night during the Civil War, not just about politics, but about his own soul. What burden he carried, what lesson he gleaned, and always, he found something to be thankful for. Even in fire, so must you. Keep a gratitude journal. Speak your thanks aloud, not just for the big wins, but for the small signs, the breath in your lungs, the lessons in your losses, the people who stayed, the strength you didn't know you had. This practice grounds you, it centers you. It reminds you that you are not lost, you are becoming, and as you appreciate what you have, you attract what you desire. Gratitude is not passive, it is magnetic. It draws in more of what aligns with your highest self, so make it a habit, not once a year, but every single day, and watch as the world begins to change. Not because it suddenly got better, but because you did. Now pause, not to stop, but to feel what's stirring. These 6 habits command your morning, discipline your mind, move your body, clarify your vision, act with intention, and reflect with gratitude. They are not tasks, they are not chores. They are sacred practices. They are the quiet rituals of every extraordinary soul you admire. They are the reason some people seem to walk with fire while others stumble in fog. And none of them are beyond you. In fact, they are already inside you, dormant, perhaps, but not dead. You've just forgotten. You've just been distracted. But now you remember. Now you feel it, that voice in your gut that says, you are meant for more. Not someday. Now. These habits, when practiced not as performance, but as devotion, do not just change your day, they change your life, slowly at first, then all at once. One morning, you'll wake up and the mirror won't reflect the old you. It will show someone unshakable, unstoppable, unrecognizable even to the person you were a year ago. And it will all be because you decided to live by design, not default, because you chose discipline over drift, vision over noise, fire over fear. And that is how transformation begins, not with a revolution, but with a routine, not with a scream, but with a whisper. Start now, start before you're ready, start before you're perfect. Start even if it's small, because the small becomes sacred when done with intention. And what you do daily becomes who you are eternally. Transformation is not a miracle, it is a method, and every method is built on choice. Not one time, emotional choices made in moments of inspiration, but small, quiet, often invisible choices made daily in the trenches of life when no one is watching. This is the truth no one wants to admit, that the extraordinary life is not a reward, it is a result of habits, of rituals, of sacred repetition. And once you understand this, mediocrity is no longer an option, because now you know. Now, there are no excuses left. The veil has lifted. You can no longer blame luck or timing or fate, because you are the author now. The pen is in your hand. Every single day, you either reinforce your greatness or you reinforce your limits. You either step forward into growth or retreat into comfort. There is no pause button, no neutral gear. Time is moving, and so are you. The only question is, where? You see, most people live their entire lives stuck in a hypnotic rhythm, doing what they've always done, thinking what they've always thought, becoming what they've always feared. They're not lazy, they're asleep, numb to their potential, chained to a routine that was never theirs to begin with. But you were born to break that rhythm. You were born to wake up, to disrupt, to rewrite the pattern. Napoleon Hill called it breaking the spell of drifting. And every habit you choose with intention is another cut of the blade, severing the old cycle. When you wake up early instead of hitting snooze, that's rebellion. When you fill your mind with purpose instead of poison, that's revolution. When you choose discomfort over escape, discipline over distraction, that is how giants are born. Do you want to know why these habits are so powerful? Because they do not simply change what you do, they change what you believe. And belief is the soil from which everything grows. When you consistently do things aligned with your higher self, your brain begins to whisper, maybe I am capable. That whisper becomes a voice. That voice becomes a roar. And suddenly, the limits you once accepted begin to crumble. The ceiling becomes a floor. The fear becomes fuel. And the old version of you becomes a stranger. That is why these habits must be non-negotiable, not optional, not when I feel like it, because feelings are weather, they come and go. Discipline is the sun, steady, constant, burning through every cloud. There will be days you don't feel motivated. Good. That's the test. That's when the world separates the curious from the committed, because anyone can act when it's easy. But if you want to change your life, you must act especially when it's hard, when it's raining, when you're tired, when the results haven't shown up yet. That's when character is carved. That's when you prove not to the world, but to yourself, that you are not owned by circumstance. You are driven by vision. The greats never needed perfect conditions. Edison failed 10,000 times before the light bulb sparked. Lincoln lost election after election before history crowned him. These men were not superhuman. They were relentless. And what gave them that relentless fire? Habits, a morning routine that grounded them, a mental discipline that protected them, a vision so clear it burned through every failure. They lived these principles long before the world ever noticed. And so must you, because the world will only believe in you after you believe in you. And belief is built through consistency, through showing up day after day, even when the applause is silent, even when the results are invisible, because something is changing, not outside you, within you. Every time you act in alignment with your higher self, your identity shifts, and that shift is the seed of destiny. Let the others mock discipline. Let them laugh at your routines, your morning rituals, your vision boards and daily reflections. Let them scroll and sleep and waste. They are not your competition. They are your contrast. Proof of who you used to be, proof of who you refuse to remain. You were not born to fit in. You were born to wake up the world. But first, you must wake up yourself through these habits, through these daily acts of devotion to your future. Because here is the secret no one tells you. Discipline is not the enemy of freedom. It is its mother. The more you master yourself, the less the world can control you. The more consistent your actions, the more explosive your growth. You are not here to be average. You are not here to survive. You are here to create, to rise, to become something the world has never seen, not because you are lucky, but because you are prepared. You want to change your life? Then honor your mornings like they are sacred. Defend your focus like it's your fortress. Move your body like it's your temple. Define your vision like it's your battle plan. Take action like the clock is ticking, because it is. And reflect with gratitude as if you've already won, because in truth, every step forward is a win. Not someday, not when you've made it. Every single step. That is what transformation is, a series of invisible victories, private battles, silent mornings, quiet decisions that seem small but shake the future. The world may never see them, but one day they will see you, and they will call you lucky, talented, special. Smile, nod, and know the truth. You were simply consistent. There is a moment in every life when the tide begins to turn, not because the world changes, but because you do. That moment is not loud. It is not dramatic. It happens quietly, deep within the soul, when you realize that your future is not written by your past. It is written by your patterns, and patterns are nothing more than habits repeated with conviction. The men and women who rise truly raised, not do so by accident. They do not wait for fate to intervene, or for motivation to strike like lightning. They build their rise, brick by brick, day by day, through the power of deliberate habits. One of the most transformative habits is intentional clarity, not just vision, but daily alignment with that vision. Most people wake up reacting. They check their phones, scroll through noise, and absorb other people's agendas before they've even connected with their own. That is not a life. That is a prison built of distractions. But the rare few who rise above begin each day with ruthless clarity. They ask, what do I stand for? What am I creating? What truly matters today? Because without clarity, ambition is just noise. A life without direction is a ship without a compass. It may be moving, but it is drifting. And drift is death to potential. So begin each day by connecting with your why. Write it, speak it, visualize it. Let it burn in your chest like a flame that refuses to die. This is not fantasy. This is programming. You are training your mind to serve your future instead of your fears. You are rewiring your subconscious to recognize opportunity, to reject distraction, to crave growth. Because the brain, like the body, grows by what you feed it. Feed it doubt, and it will shrink. Feed it vision, and it will expand into something unstoppable. And don't just stop at vision, move into discipline through environment. Your habits are not just shaped by willpower. They are shaped by what surrounds you, the people, the places, the inputs. If you sit in a room full of excuses, you will adopt their language. If you drown in media designed to distract and agitate, you will lose your edge. But if you cure your environment, cut the noise, guard your mind, surround yourself with elevation, you will begin to shift effortlessly into alignment. Because the path of least resistance can also be the path of greatest transformation if you design it that way. That is the genius of habit. It removes friction. When something becomes who you are, you no longer have to fight for it. You no longer debate if you should do the work, make the call, and push through the pain. You just do it, because it is what you do. The most successful people in history, from Carnegie to Jobs to Kobe, understood this truth. They built systems around their greatness. They did not rely on hype or hope. They built routines that made success inevitable. And they protected those routines like their lives depended on them, because they did. Another essential habit that reshapes your destiny is movement. Not just for fitness, but for fire. Motion is medicine. It wakes up the body, sharpens the mind, and ignites the soul. When you move with intensity, you signal to your subconscious that you are not a victim, you are a warrior. You remind your nervous system that you are alive, awake, and ready to dominate the day. This is not about six-pack abs or step counts. This is about unleashing your energy so it cannot be hijacked by fear or fatigue. Because when your energy is low, everything feels like a threat. But when your energy is high, nothing can stop you. And with energy comes action. Not overthinking, not overplanning. Execution every single day. Take one bold step forward. It doesn't matter how small it looks. What matters is that it is in alignment with your vision. Send the email. Launch the idea. Practice the skill. Make the call. Write the page. Do the thing. Action is the antidote to doubt. Motion is the cure for fear. You want to change your mindset? Move your feet. You want to reprogram your confidence? Stack tiny wins. Because confidence is not born, it is built. And every day you act in the direction of your purpose, you are laying another brick on the foundation of your future. Still, with all this movement, you must not forget the most powerful daily reset: stillness. A moment of silence, a breath, a pause between battles. In a world addicted to noise and speed, stillness is a rebellion. It is where clarity is reborn, where your spirit speaks louder than the world, where you remember who you are when everything else is stripped away. This is not luxury, it is strategy. Meditation, reflection, journaling, prayer, whatever form it takes, make space to meet yourself. Because the strongest warriors are not those who fight without fear. They are the ones who know how to return to center when the storm rages. And finally, remember this: none of these habits matter unless they are wrapped in belief. Belief that you are worth the effort, that your vision matters, that your discipline is not wasted, but sacred. Because the habits that change your life will not always feel easy. They will often feel lonely, invisible, and thankless. But belief makes them holy. Belief turns repetition into ritual. And over time, your rituals will turn into results. Not instantly, but inevitably. You were not sent here to merely exist. You were sent here to expand, to rise, to awaken dormant power. You are not broken. You are becoming. And every habit you cultivate is a hammer in your hand, chiseling away the stone, revealing the masterpiece that was hidden all along. The world may not see it yet, but you do, and that's all that matters. There's a fire inside you that the world has tried to dim. With every failure, every rejection, every doubt planted by those who couldn't see their own greatness. The embers flickered, but they never died. They never could die because you were born with purpose coded into your very breath. And now, through these daily disciplines, you are fanning that fire into an inferno, but one flame alone cannot light the world. It must be sustained, and the habit that sustains greatness longer than anything else is gratitude. Yes, gratitude, not as a soft sentiment, not as a feel-good exercise, but as a power move. Because when your mind is trained to see abundance instead of lack, to find lessons instead of losses, you cannot be broken. When Edison's laboratory burned to the ground in 1914, wiping out decades of work, he didn't fall to his knees in despair. He turned to his son and said, "Go get your mother. She'll never see another fire like this." That is gratitude as power. That is the mind of a builder, a believer, a giant who refuses to live small. Gratitude rewires your perspective. It shifts your attention from what's missing to what's possible, from complaints to capacity, from victimhood to victory. Every single morning, before the noise creeps in, sit with your gratitude. Speak it out loud. Write it down. Count your blessings like currency, not because your life is perfect, but because it is yours. Because within your struggle lies your strength. Within your delays lie your design. And the more you focus on what you have, the more you are trusted with more. That is the law. The universe does not pour into a heart that curses its own cup. But let me be clear, gratitude does not mean passive contentment. It does not mean accepting mediocrity or tolerating disrespect. It means appreciating where you are while preparing for more. It means saying, "Thank you for this mountain, now watch me climb." It is the balance between fire and peace, hunger and humility. And those who master this balance become magnetic. Opportunities begin to chase them, people begin to follow them. Not because they shouted louder, but because they radiated something rare. Certainty without arrogance, gratitude without settling. And once this gratitude is rooted in you, you're ready for the next habit, adaptability, because the world is not fixed. It shifts, the roles change, the storms come, the plans fail, and those who cannot adapt will not last. Resilience is not just about toughness, it's about fluidity. It's about becoming like water, formless, fearless, and flowing through obstacles, not breaking against them. Bruce Lee said it best. Be like water, my friend. And water always finds a way. So every day, train your mind to release rigidity, to embrace the unknown, to see change not as chaos, but as a catalyst. This doesn't mean abandoning your values. It means anchoring them while adjusting your sails. It means asking, what is this moment asking of me? What new version of me must emerge now? Because life will not ask for your permission to test you. It will demand your evolution. And only those willing to reinvent, to shed old skins, to rise in new forms will continue to grow. Ford adapted, Lincoln adapted, Disney adapted, the Wright brothers adapted. Every legend was once a learner who refused to cling to comfort. They pivoted, they evolved, and they won because they moved when others froze. You must do the same. Let go of your need for control. Embrace the wild. Trust that uncertainty is not your enemy, it is your training ground. But adaptation is only possible when you practice. The next habit, radical self-honesty. This is the daily habit of looking in the mirror not just to adjust your appearance, but to examine your patterns, your excuses, your self-deception. Because you cannot fix what you won't face, and you cannot face what you won't see. So be brave enough to call yourself out. Not to shame yourself, but to free yourself. Ask, where am I lying to myself? Where am I blaming instead of building? Where am I shrinking instead of stepping up? This habit of self-inquiry is not always comfortable, but it is always liberating. The truth will hurt, but lies will kill. So choose the pain that frees you over the comfort that buries you. And know this, when you are honest with yourself, no one can weaponize your flaws. You are no longer hiding. You are healing, and healing leads us to the final habit that completes the circle, continuous learning. Every day, feed your mind. Every day, challenge your thinking. Every day, push your understanding just a little further than the day before. Because ignorance is not a weakness, but choosing to stay ignorant is. And in a world moving at the speed of light, those who stop learning are already falling behind. But this isn't about accumulating facts or sounding smart. It's about feeding your becoming. Read the books, listen to the greats, study the failures, analyze your own decisions. Curiosity is not childish, it is godlike. It is the trait of innovators, disruptors, revolutionaries. Einstein questioned everything. Da Vinci was obsessed with patterns. Tesla studied the invisible forces of the universe. The ones who change the world are always learning how it works. And so must you. But don't just learn for the sake of knowledge. Learn to apply. Learn to become. Learn to create. Because wisdom is not what you know. It is what you live. And if you live these 6 habits: deep clarity, relentless discipline, movement, gratitude, adaptability, and learning, you will not just change your life, you will transform your legacy. Now you stand on the edge not of fear, but of freedom. The kind of freedom that doesn't come from circumstances changing, but from you changing, from the inside out, from the bones of your beliefs to the fire in your habits. These 6 daily practices aren't just disciplines, they are portals, each one a door, and when you walk through them consistently, relentlessly, with heart and hunger, you do not merely improve your life, you rebuild yourself, and in doing so, you rebuild the world around you. This is the truth so many ignore. Your world is not made by chance. It is shaped, molded, sculpted by the silent architecture of your daily decisions. What you do when no one is watching, what you think when doubt creeps in, what you believe when things fall apart, and who you become when it would be easier not to. You see, success was never about motivation. It was never about luck or timing or talent. It was always about the will to endure with direction, the faith to believe without evidence, the courage to act especially when it hurts. This is the secret the giants knew. Lincoln, walking alone for miles just to borrow a book, feeding his mind, while others fed their excuses. Carnegie, starting with nothing, but obsessed with ideas bigger than steel, building not just an empire, but the mindset behind one. Edison, failing over 10,000 times to invent a light bulb and still having the audacity to smile and say, "I have not failed. I have just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That is the mind of someone who refuses to break. They didn't have magic. They built their magic through habits, through routines that forged steel inside their character. And so can you. This is not beyond you. This is within you, waiting, sleeping, but no longer. Because today, you don't just know the habits. You own them. You breathe them. You become them. Wake up every day with clarity, not confusion. Clarity of who you are, what you want, and why it must be done. Let that vision burn so bright that no doubt survives it. Then, with discipline as your sword, slice through hesitation. Show up whether it rains, burns, or breaks. You are not here for convenience. You are here for conquest. You move with intent, with power, with urgency. You train the body not just for looks, but for life, because the body is the temple where greatness is housed. Keep it strong. Move it daily. Let sweat be your signature. Let breath be your prayer. Let stillness be your fuel. Then stand in gratitude daily, not for perfection, but for progress, for breath, for bruises, for breakthroughs. Gratitude is your shield against bitterness, your proof that even the pain had purpose. And when life changes, as it always will, you don't resist. You adapt. You bend. You shift. You reinvent. Because rigidity is the death of relevance. The world belongs to those who remain fluid, flexible, and fierce. The river carves through mountains not with power, but with persistence. And when life tests you, you will flow through it. And through it all, you stay a student. Not once, not sometimes, but always. You learn from books, from failure, from your enemies, from your past. You learn not to impress, but to elevate. Because ignorance is expensive and wisdom pays in freedom. Now listen, there will be days when the fire flickers, when the world feels too loud, when you forget how far you've come. On those days, go back to the beginning. Remember who you were before the world told you who to be. Remember the child who dreamed without limits, who spoke without fear. That child still lives in you, and they are waiting for you to lead. Don't betray that inner dreamer. Don't abandon the fire, because the world needs you, not a copy, not a version watered down by doubt. You, fully alive, fully awakened, fully aligned. You are not too late. You are not too old. You are not too broken. You are becoming. Right now. So rise, with heart, with hunger, with holy defiance. Let your life be your protest against mediocrity. Let your habits be the drumbeat of your greatness. Let your daily rituals become your resurrection. Because the moment you commit to this path, not as a phase, not as a test, but as a lifestyle, you activate a force no man, no system, no storm can stop. And that is the secret they never told you. Transformation doesn't happen someday. It happens daily, in the small choices, the unseen reps, the quiet disciplines, the early mornings, the rejected temptations, the extra mile, the handwritten goals, the whispered prayers, the relentless action even when no applause is heard. That is the furnace where legacies are forged. So now, take a breath. Look at your life, not with regret, but with responsibility. Everything can change, and it begins not with a dream, not with a plan, but with a habit. One habit, practice today and again tomorrow, until the habit becomes your identity, and the identity becomes your destiny. Because the truth is this, you don't rise to the level of your dreams. You fall to the level of your habits. So build habits that make falling an elevation, that turn ordinary days into divine rituals, that transform you into the force you were born to be. This is your time. This is your blueprint. This is your discipline. Welcome to the beginning of everything you were meant to become. Welcome to Napoleon Daily's discipline. If this message awakened something in you, if it reminded you of who you really are and what you're capable of, don't let it fade. Fuel it. Share it. Stand with us in this movement of daily transformation. Like this video to honor the power of discipline. Share with someone who needs to hear this today. And if you're ready to commit to your greatness not once, but daily, then subscribe to Napoleon Daily's Discipline, because here, we don't chase motivation, we build mindsets. We forge legacies. And together, we rise one disciplined day at a time. Stay connected, stay relentless, and remember, greatness isn't found someday. It's created daily. Welcome to the discipline. Welcome to the Napoleon Daily's Discipline family.